To prepare for the 48 sections, I am going to take my ruler with numbers, really sharp pencil, so I'm going to sharpen my lead again, and I'm going to make marks every 2 millimeters, right? Because I'm doing this measurement. So you're basically making 48 marks. And number 48 will be the edge of the circle. So let's see where my light is best. Here it looks pretty good. And I'm going to make 48 marks, and just so I can really see my marks, just for my ease, every centimeter I'm going to make a little bit longer. So once I have those 48 marks, I turn my paper around again. It was just like that so I could see it. And then there's a period of measuring. This is where it's going to be really helpful for you to have this PDF. But I will try my best to do it audibly, just so you can follow along. Actually, maybe I'll just make a note down the side. So the numbers are 6, 6, 5, 6. That 6 gets divided, 3 and 3. Then there's 7, which gets divided 4 and 3. Then there's 6, 6, 6. All right, so now let's see how that works. So I'm going to count them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I draw a line. It's a little bit of a line. The first one. So that was the first 6. Then there's another 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I have to tell you that this is hand drawn, right? So I think this is a really precise method for doing the measuring. But it's not as good as if you did it on the computer or something where it was exact. See how there's just tiny micro differences. Okay, 6, 6, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something else I'll tell you is that I count these up and down 3 or 4 times to make sure I have exactly the right number, because you do need the right number. So 6, 6, 5. Then there's 6, which is 3 and 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That middle one is not as important though, so we'll just keep it shorter. Then we'll count again. Then I think it's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember that little 4. 5, 6, 7. Then hopefully we have 3 6s left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Phew. Many a time have I counted this way, 6, 6, 6, and back and forth, and so all these daily Shris must be paying off. All right, so what are we doing now? That's pretty good. You know, sometimes we would draw these longer, but I think you can do it. Just leave it like this. Sometimes you draw these ones all the way across. It just gets so busy. what I am going to do is number, just for this purpose and just so it matches this handout, if you want to go to my website and get the handout. Typically, I don't do this anymore. It's just for teaching, okay? So there's going to be 9 numbers, points. So this is number 1. That's going to relate to that point. This is number 2. That relates to that point. This is number 3. That point. This is number 4. That point. I think it's just the big numbers. This is number 5. Big lines. 5. That point. This is number 6. Remember that was a whole 7. This is number 7. This is number 8. And the last one is number 9. Everything about the Sri Yantra is 9s. All right, 9 circuits. Then we take deep breaths and we are going to start the drawing. First thing we're going to draw, so in the handout, if you decide to download the handout, the first line we're going to draw is going to be at number 4. So it's the 1, 2, it's like the third line across. And you're going to draw the first 2 lines only all the way across your circle. So I'm lining up my vertical, my horizontal. I'm super excited. I've got this ruler to help me. Remember, we really want to be as precise as possible using this method, which is funny because I know the freehand style doesn't seem that precise, right? But this method is very precise. You're going to be able to erase some of those wiggly lines later. Right now, just keep it. So draw through number 4. Then that joins point number 9. So that's your first downward pointing triangle. You really want to have good points on these triangles. I always look and look and look and look again. Maybe even try it out. Make sure it looks like it's going to be a good point. Then draw. Okay, so that's your first downward pointing triangle. The second triangle is an upward pointing triangle, and it's along the line of number 6. So it's the first big line below the horizontal line, or you could say 1, 2, 3 big lines up. Now sometimes I will even turn the paper here so I can use the horizontal line. So now my yantra is upside down because I really want to see through my ruler and make sure everything is lining up. And yes, people, if you like this video, like it on the video. Give me a thumbs up. I know some of you really wanted this video. Give me a thumbs up. Tell your friends to subscribe to the channel. You subscribe if you haven't already. So this is going to be going to the point number 1. So this is upward pointing, and it goes to the top. Sometimes people ask me, upward pointing, downward pointing. Today I'm focusing on 5 downward pointing triangles. You have a choice with the Sri Yantra to have this central triangle up or down. There's going to be 5 downward and 4 upward. So they say that the more upward triangles takes you up to a more meditative, kind of otherworldly plane. So right now, I need my, I need my things. I need my earth plane. Got work to do here on this earth plane. So I do downward pointing. That's more this goddess worship, downward pointing. And it's more of a Shiva worship when you have more upward pointing triangles. Both are acceptable, right? It's not good or bad. There's nothing cursed if you have your triangles up or down. It's just a personal preference. So once you have your two major triangles in, then we go to the next downward pointing triangle, and that is going to go through number 3. I'm going to look for that number 3 line. I'm going to have my ruler as good as I can. This one does not go all the way to the edge. However, I don't know yet how far I need it. So what happens usually is you draw it pretty wide. See, I even made it look like it was at the edge. It shouldn't be right at the edge. So go pretty wide, because until we draw the next line, we don't know where the end point is. The next line will go all the way to number 8, which is there. So this is how you figure it out. You put your pencil at number 8, and then you see where that crisscross is. See, there's a crisscross? The line is going to go from number 8 through that crisscross that was made from the two big triangles. See that crisscross? And to there. And then I'll erase the extra. So I put my pencil there. I put my pencil there just to kind of locate where it's going to be. Make sure it's going to be a good point. It's all about the points. Make sure it goes through this intersection. And then exhale as you draw. And then I'll take my eraser and just do that outer extra bit, the hangover bit. If I erase too much, sometimes I have to go back in and redraw the line, like here. Sometimes I'll just draw, make it crisp. You want the edge of the line to feel kind of crisp. Just the corners are important. Okay? Then we'll look at the other side. So we'll be definitely going down to the 8. And we'll be going through this intersection at 4. I have made so many of these, and I have to tell you that it got so much more enjoyable after doing the freehand Sri Yantras. Because before that, I just felt like I was following steps, but I wasn't really understanding it. Now I have a deep understanding. It's like it's in my body, or just visually, it just makes sense in a whole new way from those daily freehand Sri Yantras. You'll see as we get closer to the center, I kind of give up on these measurements at a certain point, and I just go with my visual, which is now much stronger. All right, so we have 3 triangles in, and we're going to go for the next one. The next one is going to be upward pointing. It's going to start at 7. I'm going to turn my paper around so that I know it's horizontal. So my paper's upside down. I'm drawing a horizontal line through number 7. With my very sharp pencil. Okay. So where are we going with this 7? All the way up to number 2. So this one, also just going to go through one intersecting point here at 6. I'm going to go point at 2 through that intersection, and then we don't know where we'll land yet. Let's find out. And take off the extra. This is where I need my better eraser with a really, you can get a nice sharp corner on an eraser. That's okay though. Now we'll do the other side. So the other side is going to come down from 2, through the 6-point intersection and to here. Obviously at the end you can erase all your numbers. I have them in so that you can see how to do this. Now this is a devotional practice. That's why you really have to get fluid with it so you don't get so stuck in your head trying to have it look good. It's the main yantra in Tantra, Sri Yantra practice, Sri Vidya practice. Luckily, I have not only the numbers, but I have that arm at the top of the page to keep reminding me where the top is. If I keep turning my page upside down, I can get confused pretty easily. So I'm going to keep coming back every time. Say, here's my arm. Now where are we? Actually, what we're doing is we're slowly working out from the center. So the next one we're going to do is going to be the line that'll be at number 2. And let's see, where's that line going to go? It's going to go to one of our interesting places, here. So midway, this was the 7. So it's going to be 3 marks up from the bottom. Because remember, it was 4 and 3. So 3 marks up from the bottom is where I'm aiming. And this is a whole new thing. Now I'm going to go through not only 1, but 2 to get to the edge. Same on this side. This is where you pray a little harder that your lines are going to go through the intersections. Because there's 2, right? It's easy to get 1, but to get both is a little more challenging. This one looks like it worked. Phew. And then I'll erase the corner. And then go to the other side. So I hope this is clear. I know I'm going kind of slowly, but I really want you to get it. And you know, you can stop and go back as much as you need to, obviously. Okay, so that's just to get the corner crisp. On the other side, same thing. Now I'm going to go through 1, 2 to get to that line. Probably everybody at every teacher training program across the country, yoga, tantra, Ayurveda, would benefit from making this yantra. Because it really is a yantra that appears in all the sacred texts regarding these 3 subjects, Tantra, Yoga, and Ayurveda. Just putting it out there. All right, next one. So that was downward. Next time we're probably going to have a, upward pointing triangle. So this is going to be right at the bottom. Here. Now at this point, I would like to think that I can eyeball what horizontal is. But I just feel like for the sake of this beautiful teaching video, I'm going to turn it around. So I turned it upside down, and I'm double checking that this is very horizontal, very vertical. And then I don't know how wide yet that line is going to be. I will turn it around so it's not too confusing. Woohoo! So we're not really using these diagonal lines. So if you ever want to get rid of those, you can. You know, just so you're not inundated with extra lines in your pathway, visual pathway. All right, so what we're going to do is look for the end point of the triangle. The end point is at this number 4. This is the large downward pointing triangle. Remember we started with this? So that's where I'm heading. So I sometimes even will do that just to kind of remind myself, a little V shape. I'm going to go through there, and I'm going to go through here, 2 intersections. And same thing, I'm hoping it's going to go through pretty neatly. And I'm not going to worry if it doesn't, it's just, that'll be today. So let's try this side. Start at number 4. Look for my intersections. Sometimes you get one really well and not the other one. Looks like that lower one is just a little bit off, but like I said, I'm not going to worry about it. So, you know, when you gaze at the yantra, what your eye sees are these lines. So I'm more interested in you getting good points in the center than every single part lining up. There. Take off the corner. And then let's do the other side. 4. Let me show you first, in case you're really watching this carefully at home. We're going to go to number 4. I'm going to go through 1 intersection at 6 and 1 intersection at 7. Most important is the point. So there's the point. There's a pretty good intersection. There's a less good intersection today. Still possible. Sometimes you have to erase the whole thing. If you just have those, if you have those 48 measurements, just, you know, it's a freehand mark, and sometimes it's just a little up or down. It's a very precise yantra, this, when you do it in this precise way. All right, so we got the big triangles in, so you can take a little bit of excitement and celebrate that much. We don't need these measurements anymore. Just trying to clean up as we go. So we've done the bottom section. You can even erase the numbers. So the next thing we're going to do is another upward pointing triangle. So we just did one, this one. So now we're going to 5 1/2, and we're going to draw a horizontal line. Okay, so that's 5 1/2, where that point is. The triangle that starts at number 2. And I'm going to draw a horizontal line. I can eyeball it. I'm not going to turn it upside down. And I'm going to go to the edges of this one, this triangle. This triangle, the triangle with the flat part at number 3. The bottom is number 8. So we've just added that line. You see that? Then I'm going to take that line up to number 3. This doesn't intersect anything. It just is parallel to this triangle and this triangle. It's beautiful, actually, how there's the parallel. And then I'll do the other side. Hopefully this is clear. We just drew the horizontal line. We're going up to number 3, keeping the ruler parallel. Take a breath. Okay, now we're going to do a horizontal line. It's going to be a downward pointing triangle just below 4. This is where you're going to use your eyes, my friends, because see this line we made that was a bit bigger, below 4? So what we had is this area, 6, 3 and 3. So what we had was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So at 3, you're going to draw a horizontal line that goes to that upward pointing triangle that ends in 2. I have learned from doing that other freehand yantra that it is important to go through number 3, but it's even more important to go through these crisscrosses. Can you see this crisscross there and there? So I'm going to be prioritizing going through the crisscrosses and hoping it's just around number 3 division. It's not bad anyway, but sometimes it is a little worse. So go ahead and always look at the actual yantra more than the measurements. So I want to go exactly through there. Okay, so it was just a little bit under the measurement, but it was beautifully in between these two triangles. Then I'm going to join that line all the way down to where the number 7 is. There's 1. Okay, so we just drew this triangle. The point was at number 7. All right, there's one more nice line that we're going to be drawing together. And that is also through crisscrosses. And also I think it's going to be not quite where you had a line. So this is number 5. And just above number 5, see I have a crisscross and I have a crisscross. Draw through those crisscrosses to the first line. It'll be the point number 3 that you see. So we're doing another horizontal line at 5, which is the one mark above the bindu, the dot. But just nudge your ruler up a tiny bit so it goes through those two crisscrosses. Then draw a horizontal line. See, it went beautifully through those crisscrosses. The next thing you're going to do is, see there's only one spot left, if you've been following along very closely, and that is number 6. This is the one that does not go through intersections. You just draw an interesting angle out to the side on either side. Number 6 to that line we just drew. It ends up making these beautiful triangles, but when you first draw it, you're not quite sure what's going on. Have a little faith. Look, have your sharpened pencil at number 6. And this, my friends, is the great Sri Yantra. This central part is getting closer and closer to the goddess that lives at the center. Sri 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 Tripura Sundari. Tripura Sundari lives at the center of the Sri Yantra. She's sometimes known as Lalita. Alright, so you have your triangles now. What can be a little bit confusing still is just the guidelines. So one thing I'd like to just share with you right at the end here is, first of all, try to get rid of some of this horizontal line so you can see what you have. But I wanted to say something about the bindu. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and erase your horizontal line. You may have to redraw some of these lines so they're really nice and crisp. And then the bindu. The thing about the bindu is that you want it to look like it's in the center of this triangle. You know, your dot might be a little at the top or a little not centered. You want to make the bindu, which is the central dot, look like it's in the middle of the triangle. So for example, I'm going to bring it down a tiny bit. It'll just visually look more pleasing and just have like it pulls you into your center better if it's in the middle of the triangle. All right, so you're going to do some erasing and cleaning up a little bit of your lines. And it's beautiful as a drawing. It doesn't have to be painted. If you want to try painting the primary colors that we use for the chakras, I'm adding that picture at the end of this video. All right, namaste. We'll end with a shreem. 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 If there's an area in your life which needs a little extra support, feel free to contact me for a consultation. The yantras can be really helpful in overcoming certain obstacles and also giving you some support and energy for growth in the areas that you're working on. You can contact me at the link below. I look forward to speaking to you soon.